Good day to you. Welcome to the Joy Show, where being you is honored, celebrated, and rejoiced in, because there is just one you. Well, I'm so delighted that you're here. So, whatever time of day it is for you, morning, noon, or night, I am so grateful that you chose to join us today. And what I'd like to do is start with the land acknowledgement. We work, live, and play on the historical and traditional territory of many First Nations. And as we gather on Turtle Island, we as settlers are grateful for the opportunity to meet here. And we thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. We include the Métis, Inuit, and all other Indigenous people. Also, we acknowledge that as we continue to grow and expand on these lands, there is still unresolved and dangerous inequality and discrimination toward our BIPOC and 2S LGBTQ plus family. And by making these acknowledgements, we strive to be allies and take an active part in reconciliation. We recognize our oneness. We realize our history. We choose to create a new reality. We are one. Yes. Well, today my guest is Janet Ellis, an international speaker, interfaith minister, published author. Her book, Wake Up, Break the Generational Cycle and Be Yourself. Is that made for this show or what? So, specializing in personal resilience, emotional and spiritual wellness, leadership, and organizational renewal, she has inspired many groups and individuals to make positive changes in their lives. And through her company, Janet's Planets of Empowerment, she designs and delivers inspirational workshops, seminars, and keynote presentations. We are in for a treat. Welcome, Janet.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm so glad you're here because, this show really is about, wake up, be you. Your book is kind of wake up, be you.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your journey, like what brought you to the place of creating that book and doing what you do.
Well, actually, the story I tell is it's 2000 and, 2000 January. I'm in the corporate world and I am an extrovert sitting there inputting data into two computers in the cubicle. And I had, yeah. It was. So I'd be in my cubicle typing around a little bit, and then I'd get up and start wondering and talking to people because I couldn't stand it. And at the time, I didn't know. I had no realization that's what I was doing. Yeah. And then I'd hear the boss go, Janet, get back to your cubicle. And I'd go back and type a little bit more. And then finally, one day, I just said, I can't do it anymore. And I had just gotten married, maybe not even a year yet. And I went to my husband. I said, it's sanity or money. You have a choice. And he went, you don't make enough money for that. Just go. So I did. And so it's January, 2000. And I have no idea what I'm going to do. I have no idea. So I thought I'd go to a yoga center and maybe get healthy. And I get there and it's closed. There's a list of different workshops that were coming up for that month. And the first one said, The Path, Creating Mission and Vision for Work and Life. And I went, okay, God, I get it. Okay. So I got the number and I went home and I called the facilitator and I talked with her and I said, so give me details. And we talked for a good 45 minutes or so. And then I finally said, well, thank you for the information. And she said, so you're going to join me? And I went, nah, I don't think so. And she goes, well, what is it? You need a scholarship? And I went, what do you mean? And she said, just come. Mm-hmm. So I was there for a weekend. I didn't pay for the workshop. It changed my life.
Yeah.
I said, gosh, it changed my life. And so we sat down and talked, and I commented to her. I said, is there a way that I could follow you, maybe help you in your workshops and such, so I can get an idea if this might be something I want to do? And so for 6 months, I assisted her. And I ended up flying to California meeting the lady that created this program and was licensed and certified to facilitate the workshop. And in that time frame, though, I was really working with teenagers. I was the youth sponsor at Unity Church, and had 16 years at YOU sponsor. So teens, I love teens. Can't tell. Teen. Anyway, until they tell me I'm an old lady, I feel like I'm one of them, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, I was talking to the lady that created this program, and I said, do you have anything for teenagers? And she didn't. And I went, let me take it home. Let me take it home with me, and I'll do something with it, and, you know, I'll bring it back to you, so forth. So we did a lock-in. The teens and I did a lock-in, and we created, it's called Path for You, and it is the teenagers, and it's a workbook. And so that got created, and for, I don't know, 2 years at least, I went to every ISD in the community that I could to try and get in to work with teenagers. And there's not one school that would let me, not one that would let me in, because the word God's in there somewhere. So, you know.
Oh, not that word. Oh,
yeah, that word was there. So it was real interesting. I had gone and spoken at a church in Fort Worth one Sunday, and afterwards, one of the guys on the board came up to me and said, so I understand you like working with teens. And I said, yeah, I really do. And he goes, would you be interested in mentoring these teens at this high school in Fort Worth? And I said, well, it depends. Yeah, it depends on what that means. And so we met with the principal, and we sat down and we talked, and it ended up that I was given permission to bring that program into that high school. And for 9 years, I mentored freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors to help them get, these are lower income kids whose parents had never finished high school. They not only the ones that were going to graduate from high school, but they were also going to college. And so I got the 10th graders to work with that program. And basically it's the purpose and passion. You know, what is your purpose for being here as a human being? Well, most of them said to work and make money to keep the family united. And it's like, okay, so let's take a look at this. Human doer, human being. Let's see, you know, there's more to you than that.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you what, Barbara, when I saw light bulbs go off in these kids, it was like, there are no words. It's just mind blowing, the experiences I have had with these kids. And so from there, in that mentoring, I kind of got an idea, maybe coaching.
Yeah.
You know, becoming a life coach. It was just starting up. Mm-hmm. And so I, you know, again, Len and I, my husband and I, sat down and talked about it. And I said, I think I might want to do that. And he goes, well, you know, research it, see what you need to do, la, 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 la. And I got certified as a coach.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought so at the time. However, it was very interesting. Talk about a learning process. I had clients that would come in, and most of them were not, how do you say this gracefully? I love every client I had.
Yeah.
I learned some of the most unbelievable things that I was not a parent to work, as you know, as a minister, working with individuals. So me, the extrovert that I am, I figured everybody wanted to be an extrovert like me. So I learned very quickly.
That's not true.
Yeah, I had some running and screaming, going, no, you're too much for me. I can't handle you. But I learned how to work with introverts. I learned how to work with those who process slower than others. I've learned how to work with, you know, being patient and keeping my mouth shut.
I think that's a really interesting part of the work that we do as ministers and such, is learning how to listen, because we've got so many ideas. This could help, that could help. And so there's all of this sort of pushing it out there, rather than creating a container where we can discover the person, and then from there see if there's something that they would want from
Exactly.
us that might support them.
Good point.
Yeah.
Very good point. Yeah. So
Mm.
from the coaching, I have, well, honestly, my biggest learning where this got going, I became a licensed interfaith minister, 4 years of studies, and it
Mhm.
started in Ottawa, Canada.
Aha, there you go, not far from me.
Oh, girl. It was, well, I believe I shared this with you, but I had been there for 6 weeks to do a program. And
Mhm.
the family I was staying with had a son and a daughter, and the son was searching himself in regards to, beliefs and understandings. And he was a teenager and he came, I was living downstairs in the basement, and he came knocking on my door and asked me, "We're going to a fireside discussion. Would you be interested?" And I went, "Oh my gosh, yes, especially if you're asking me to come. I'd love to." And
Yeah.
we went, and it was amazing. It fed me in a way I hadn't been fed, and I learned again so much more. So when I came home from Ottawa, I immediately got online and started researching that. And I had been following this one website for a while, and it was called the Interfaith Orders, or it was a. And I get an email out of the blue one day, and it says, "How many of you would like to be an interfaith minister?" And I went, "Oh my God!" Oh, let me back up though. You know those tests you used to take all the time to find out what your major is or whatever you're good
Mhm.
at? Mine was always mechanic and minister. I know, right? So what am I doing? Repairing cars and preaching under the hood? I didn't know what it meant. And then I said, "There is no way I'm going to be a minister. I will not be a minister." Blah blah. On it. And I responded and said, "Oh my God, yes, that's it. That's
Yeah.
what I want. I want to know about everybody, everything, all of it." And so for 4 years, they'd tell you what books you had to get. They would send you the lessons. You had to do all that, send it back, take the test. And then once you completed a religion, they then would say, "Go find that one in your community and have them teach you everything you know." They know, not what they know. And
Yeah.
so I went to a Buddhist temple
Mhm.
in Arlington, which I didn't know they even had. I found
Yeah.
a Buddhist temple through a Thai restaurant that we used to eat. I love how it all comes together. And
Everything works.
oh my gosh! And I get there, and I'll never forget this. The senior monk, he go, "Oh, Janet, you need to learn to be quiet." Nobody else has a problem with it. What's your. Anyway, I learned to meditate, and they paid for me to go to Bangkok and Chiang Mai in Thailand. And I was there 6 weeks, and we meditated from 4:30 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, with breaks in between, chores, serving the monks. I mean, it was just mind blowing. There were 14 women staying in one room, and there were 5 guys in another room. And
Yeah.
you can relate to this. The gatherings that we have, our spiritual women gatherings that we have, there's still that little neat, 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 neat that goes on. And I don't mean anything bad. We're human, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But the most amazing experience was there were 14 of us women in one room. None of us spoke the same language. We had China,
Ooh.
England. I was the only American there. Um, India, and I can't remember where else. But anyway, if one of us had an issue going on, everybody was there for that person, no matter what. And of course, it was I'm sleeping on a board,
Yeah.
no mattress, a block for a pillow, no air, humidity. I mean, they found a mattress for me that was about that thick. I came into my room one day and it was laying on my bed. So I mean, they just it was amazing. So each religion I've delved into as much as possible, as much as they will allow me to.
Yeah.
And got me there. So I have an office, and I do still coach. Most of my what I'm finding that I'm leaning towards more speaking engagements. I absolutely love, yeah. And there are a number of unity churches, New Age type churches, CSL, all those that I get to speak at around here in the community that I just adore and learn from more and more. So, yeah.
Well, and it's so powerful to do, to explore some of these different things like Buddhism and stuff. Like it really does make a difference to start sort of expanding the parameters of what it is we think we know.
Right.
Because the truth is, we don't know what we don't know.
That's true. Waking up. That's true. It is so true.
And I was listening to Jay Shetty's podcast the other day, and one of his guests was talking about, I think it was Jay. Oh, maybe it was, I don't know. I've got a few podcasts I listen to. But I was listening to one, and the guy said, when you're walking, walk, and when you're eating, eat.
Yes.
I think it was actually a meditation teacher that I was listening to. And I thought, that's such profound information that, we've got this big hero worship of multitasking. And, truly, you cannot actually multitask. Everything's diminished by it. But this idea of, if you're eating, eat. And if you're walking, walk. And that idea of just be present in the now moment with whatever you're doing and how powerful that is. And then the miracles that come, right? When we're listening, when we're paying attention, the things that come to us that we may have missed, but all of a sudden there's a heightened awareness that draws it to us, and we begin to go from there. I love that you work with teenagers. I love working with teenagers.
Me too. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And when my services are in person, I have 4 teens that attend regularly.
Nice.
Not online. They don't want to do online, but whenever I do an in-person, man, they are there and they are glued to the, to the stage going, and they're loving it.
Cool.
It's amazing. I just want a building so I can do that all the time.
I'm with you in that regard. Yeah. Yeah. I still have connections with, so last year they were finally letting us come back into the schools for that, and walking with the principal down the hallway, and they were redoing the high school, and this young man walked by, and I heard, Miss Janet, and I turned around, and I looked, and I went, oh my God. Of course I couldn't remember his name, but I knew who it was. And he runs over and picks me and swings me around, and he goes, oh my God, it's so good to see you. Yeah. And he was a senior that year. And I had worked, I get goosebumps. I've worked with him for 3 years, and I hadn't been able to see him for 2.
Yep.
I mean, 1 year, and then I hadn't been able to see him for the 2. And the fact that he knew who I was still, it's just mind-blowing. And
I think, that's the thing with those of us who love working with teenagers, when we see them as people rather than lesser beings, which I think is part of it. And also coming to understand that they're teaching us as much as we're teaching them.
And I tell them that all the time. They have no idea.
Yeah, they just fall in love with you. They really, and they do remember. My favorite teacher from my high school days, which are long past, I had her in grade 10 and part of grade 11, and she made such an impact on me that, I stayed in touch with her. Like I would, if I was in trouble, I would call, stuff like that, right? And one day, a lot of years had passed, and I attended the Center for Spiritual Living in Calgary, and lo and behold, she was a member there as well. And so we developed a really close friendship.
How cool.
And and so, but what was interesting was all the years that whatever she would do, whenever she ran into a kid, I mean, because she taught high school
Yeah.
many, 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 many years. And every time she, went anywhere, kids would be going, "Oh, Miss Baxter, Miss Baxter, I'm so glad to see you." Right? It was like this constant thing. And, she died way too young, which was very heartbreaking for all of us. But she lived with such a passion for life and living. It was really beautiful to watch. And the kids really responded. They
Yeah.
loved her.
Yeah, and I don't think teachers, because that's what they do and they love, I do not think they realize like you said, the impact. I have a cousin who's just celebrated 32 years, and another cousin whose daughter is a teacher.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I do not remember high school teachers. I
Mm.
wasn't replace them, and so I just did what I had to do. Now, fifth grade, New York, Mr. Pennsylvania. And I don't know if he knows, but oh my Lord, that man was something. I just adored him. Just
Ah,
so I get it. And it's
yeah.
interesting now because I'm still getting there, and every year is different with the
Yeah.
conglomeration of the students, right? And there was one year, probably about 4 years ago. Wait, this is 20. Yeah, 4 years ago. I have to remember it when 2020.
Yeah.
That they all responded. They were all. I mean, it was just amazing how they responded. And
Yeah.
and the first thing we did is we defined their mission and purpose, and that being their passion. And these kids don't even know. They don't know. They're doing what they're told, right? And
Yeah.
so what I had asked the teacher to do is instead of doing checking roll, and teachers usually would sit there and just check roll
Yeah.
while I to the kids. And I asked the teacher, I said, once they get their mission, I need you to call their name out. They need to stand up. They need to speak it. And I also asked the teacher, see, the teacher participated as well. And I
Nice.
looked at them and I said, if we don't participate, we have no right to ask them to participate.
I'm
Right?
with you.
Yeah, exactly. And so this guy, this coach, cowboy dude, he was a sweetheart. But yeah. Anyway, I got a message from the gentleman that headed up the group of mentors, and it was a new year. It was 2019, and it was a brand new year. And the first thing he said to my head dude was, "She's changed my life." And this guy's in his 40s, right? And we're doing a workbook for teens. And I made him stand up and state his mission every time I was in that class. I was in there twice a week. And
Yeah.
so each student would stand up and they'd say their name. My name is Janet Ellis. My mission is to ignite, encourage, and amplify authenticity in myself and others. And then they'd sit down. And each
Right.
one of them stated. And it got to the point that in their workbooks, they had to have it. And they didn't get credit if it wasn't in their workbooks. And I know it got to a point where this teacher got so involved, he ended a 10-year relationship, quit teaching, and bought a ranch.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I know, and it's mind-blowing. And then they had there's a class for learning how to film and such, and they came in and filmed me in the classroom doing what I do.
Yeah.
And so it's the purpose and passion first, and then these kids who've never had dreams, hardly ever, created vision boards of what they wanted life to look like 5 years from that day. And I'm just today going, oh my God, you're not going to believe what happened yesterday.
Well, that's the thing that's so beautiful is when the thing is we're turning everything over to them very, very soon, right? Like,
Yes.
and we want them empowered. We want them excited and passionate. And I think figuring out what it is you enjoy doing, what it is you're passionate about, what your purpose is, that is so, so inspiring. Like, it empowers people to just be who they are. And when you
Yeah.
have somebody who accepts you as you are,
Oh,
that's the rarity, right?
right. We know who we are, but they just don't know it yet. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
especially teenagers, they get a bad rap.
That is so true. The
Yeah.
little so precious and cute and adorable, and I hear, oh my God, we're hitting the teen year, and it's
Mm,
like, God, if you only gave them credit, if you could really see how much
absolutely.
worth and knowledge these kids have.
Yeah.
I
They're-
witnessed,
Go
I
ahead.
witnessed something recently, real quick, Barbara, that
Mhm.
I hear all the negativity about, oh my God, this next generation. What are they going to do? Excuse my language. What the hell are they going to do? Because they don't know anything. Blah blah blah. And I witness these kids that have knowledge and know exactly what they want, and they will not continue to create the mess that previous generations have created. And I'm in awe. I know.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Like, I listen to, I have an 18-year-old. So I listen to the conversations that she has. Listen to her friends who range in age anywhere from, 14 or 15 to 18. And, they all go to school together and they're all talking about different things, but they are so fierce,
Yes.
so clear about what they believe to be acceptable and what's unacceptable. They understand gender fluidity. They understand like, just the fact that I, as a teenager, decide to wear a tight t-shirt shouldn't get me dress coded.
Exactly.
Right.
Because that's not who I am. This shirt is not who I am.
And the teachers who are uncomfortable with it are really sexualizing these children.
Yes.
And my daughters called them out on it.
Yeah.
Like, how dare you sexualize a child? Like, it's like, and I go, yeah, good on you, girl. So
they show the worst of them, and yet they don't show the best of them. Yeah.
And some of them are so remarkable, so remarkable. Yeah, they're amazing. We're going to take a quick little commercial break, about 2 minutes, and we'll be back. You're watching The Joy Show. Don't go away. Plenty more to come. Be right back with Janet and more conversation.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience, or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.
Watch me change when you change the way you look at things. The things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Well, welcome back. You're watching The Joy Show on the New Thought Media Network. And my guest today is Janet Ellis. And your screen went dark there, Janet. I don't know what happened. And we've been talking about, youth and all kinds of things. And I'm just wondering, there you are.
Oh,
We've got you back. You're good.
but now I'm dark here.
Oh, yeah, you're good here. I can see you perfectly.
Okay.
So I want to talk about, because this spiritual journey is such an interesting and empowering one. And I think for all of us, that as we journey along by being open and finding our true identity and things like that, we create new possibilities for ourselves, but also for others. And miraculous things happen in ways that sometimes we don't notice because we're not fully conscious of what's going on. And I just wanted to share your experience today prior to this show, because I think you received a miracle that
I apologize. I'm playing. I'm trying to be light about it. Go ahead. You go.
yes. So you went and had some x-rays done because you had a pain in your shoulder and found out other things.
Yes, ma'am. I'm guessing you want me to share that, huh?
I guess so.
Well, for entertainment purposes, let me just say how the shoulder thing happened. I got to go to Hot Springs, Arkansas to dig for crystals.
Nice.
And oh, girl, I can't even begin to, that's a whole nother story. But anyway, I got the shovel and the rake and all that stuff, and I was loading it up, and I pushed the button in the garage door to open it to put my stuff out in the car, right? And I look over, and something looks really strange, and it ends up that my recycle bin was attached to the chain on the door, so as the door went up, so did the recycle bin.
Oops.
And I'm standing there going, something looks funny. So in that moment, I'm thinking, okay, run over there, grab it, stop, push whatever's going on.
Yeah.
So I run over there, and I reached to hit the button, and the recycle bin came off the chain and landed on my shoulder. And I was on the ground. And I'm going, ow, because it was the bottom of the recycle bin. Thank God it was empty. And it hit right here, and then it dropped. And I went, man, that hurt. But I continued to do what I did. Mm-hmm. It ends up, I pulled it out of the socket a little bit. Yeah. Not totally. But girl, I went digging with one hand. Anyway, so now to tell the real story. I have a pain management doctor I go to because I have a couple of issues that I've been dealing with since an old car accident. And I was complaining about the shoulder hurting, and so they had me go have an x-ray done. And I went to the doctor this morning to get the results, and Hermine is the beautiful lady that works with me. And she was saying, well, sweetheart, you have this, darling, you have this, I love it, sweetheart, baby, darling stuff. And she said, you didn't break your shoulder. It's good. It's probably muscle and tendon. You have some arthritis here and there, and then she says, however, and I'm going like, okay, what? Look at and she pulled up the x-ray, and you can see it clear as anything. Veins, those things don't show up in x-rays, right? No. Well, I had one that did. I mean, big, bold. Yeah. So I have, she had mentioned that I have my aorta, not valve, but that main aortic blood vessel, whatever you call it, is getting clogged. Now, mm-hmm. On top of that, yesterday I started going to a brand new doctor because my other retired, and I've only been there 3 times, but every time my blood pressure's been high, and I've never had an issue with my blood pressure. I mean, anytime I've had anything done, they're so impressed. ooh, she's 66 and her blood pressure is wonderful. Well, yesterday I got put on blood pressure medicines.
So here's why I wanted you to share this, because, you're digging for crystals, and we know crystals have energy.
Yes, ma'am.
It's fascinating. And then you have this freak accident that,
Yeah.
that shouldn't happen, but it did.
Freak up.
Yeah. And you find out that there's something going on with your heart that needs to be corrected. And so you take the accident, you take the doctor yesterday saying your blood pressure is high, we need to put you on medication. And then today, the x-ray that came as a result of the accident. It's like everything has conspired to give you the information so you can go get this rectified.
Yes.
Before it actually causes a stroke or heart attack, right? Like
preventative. Yes. And now that you put it that way, I'm sitting there going, like, not me. I'm crying yesterday. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die, because that's where I go.
Well, that's where most of us would go. Yeah.
And that was the thing. I'm looking at the doctor, and I don't even know her, and I'm and I normally my crying is done in the shower or by myself in the car.
We like to hide.
Lucky to hear it. And yesterday I was a mess, just the blood pressure. And then when I got in the car, I called my husband and I said, I've got to go to a heart specialist. And his immediate, I said, well, if something's going to happen, by God, they better take me, because I am not going to linger and leave crap up for you or whatever. And his comment was, don't even go there. You're not dying and you know it. We're opening up a museum. We got things we got to finish doing. This is preventative, and just get on with it. And I'm like, okay, I'll get out. Okay. So
well, and I love that, because he's right. He's right. And the thing is, the fact that you got all of this information through really a happy accident.
yes.
Like, we look at things sometimes and we go, oh, how terrible, how awful that you hurt your shoulder.
Yeah. Right.
No, not so terrible, awful. Perfect. Because you got to know this other thing.
Oh, Barbara, when you put it that way, it makes all the difference in the world. And you're right. And I love, this is the other part of it. God's standing there going, okay, man, I'll let you go dig. You got your crystals. You're happy. You're having a great time. I dropped the can on your shoulder for a reason. What more is it going to take? And now that I'm awake, I wrote that book for a reason.
You did write that book for a reason.
Awake and realize that I really can take care of this. It's going to be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I really believe that. And, I think it's interesting when we put things in perspective.
Yes.
Because we've been trained to go big or go home, right? So, and what we do is when fear things show up, we go big.
The worst.
And I think, part of the New Thought message is, take a pause, take a breath, and allow yourself to, kind of be with where you really are, and allow new information to come in so that we're responding rather than reacting.
Yes.
And that changes everything. And frankly, your museum, is such a phenomenal idea. Like, you got to do that. So we got to talk about the museum.
My gosh, we better. Yeah, I'm doing it. I can be on my deathbed, baby, but you can bet that baby's going to open up.
So tell everybody about your museum, because I'm so excited about it.
So my husband and I met. Okay, let me back up. I'm so excited. I went yesterday and got, I found 30 items that we do not have. And Facebook, and she was in Dallas, so I drove to this woman's house yesterday and got some incredible things. But my mom turned me on to Betty Boop in the 50s. Betty Boop started in the 30s, and my mom was born in the 30s, and then she came back in the 50s on the cartoons. So my mom and I, who is my bestest friend ever, we would watch the cartoons, and then of course she died out again. And then in the 80s, she became huge. And I started collecting. And I didn't have a huge collection, but man, anytime I saw Betty, if I could grab her, I would. And this is what's really funny. I wore Betty everything. I had Betty t-shirt, Betty earrings, Betty purse, Betty whatever I could wear, I could. And I was in therapy. I'll never forget this. I had just met Len, my husband, and I'm sitting in the chair, and the therapist looks at me and says, "How much longer are you going to live through Betty?" And I just looked at him and said, "What are you talking about?" And of course, I looked down, and all I was Betty. But the point was, I didn't have my personality yet. I didn't agree with her, but it pissed me off. So I'd go home and I took all my Betty Boop stuff off, and I just, started wearing regular clothes.
Regular clothes.
Yeah. So my mom, whom, like I said, I adored, I lived with her after I divorced the first time. And that was it. I was never going to marry again. Didn't want to be in a relationship. I was so much like my mama. She'd been married twice. I was married once, divorced. I went, nope, we're going to grow old together. Yeah. And we're in a brand new home. She was a realtor, so she was gone doing her thing, and I was doing my thing, and it was great. And then she got diagnosed with cancer and died 9 months later.
Oh.
So I lost my best friend, my home, my everything. And I lived on my own for the very first time at 31. And Mom was 57 when she died. And so I was learning about me. And honest to gosh, Betty kept me going. She did.
Betty. Yeah.
My mind off of the grief long enough to have a little bit of fun. Yeah. So I'm in my cubicle, and you've heard this story, and I apologize, but I love it. I'm in my cubicle at work. I've been transferred from marketing, and I was now in the engineering department. Those boring dudes, those intellectual dudes. And I'm putting up my Betty Boop paraphernalia in my cubicle, and this guy walks by and says, "Betty," and I said, "No, Janet," and that was it. So I'm at my husband's work. Betty introduced my husband and I to each other. I swear.
I agree.
And so it was so funny after that. We did the dance back and forth about dating and all that. And I just told him I'm not interested. And then I was interested, and then I wasn't. And, I just gotten into unity and was learning about myself. And I didn't want somebody coming and messing with me. So anyway, he started researching, being the engineer he is. He has 8 years of research on Betty, because when he started looking for gifts for me, most of the stuff out there was fake, and they were trying to sell it as real. And so he's been published. So it's the definitive guide on Betty Boop memorabilia by Leonard Ellis. And they only printed 3,000 of them. And the other day we were online looking for one, and it was $1,500 for the book. So you can find it.
I was going to say, where can I buy it? But I got a pass.
I know. So he published that book, and then he and I, that was our adventure together. We were together for 2 years, and we got married in 91. So we'll be celebrating 30 years in October.
Oh, fabulous.
So I went to a little town in Texas called Jefferson, Texas. I'm going to start twanging now.
Yeah.
And there was this museum, and I took my best friend and I went for the weekend, and she kept saying, I want to go to this museum. And I'm looking at her going like, why? You don't even like museums. And she said, no, I really want to check this out. And so we walk over to this place, and it's the Gone with the Wind Museum. Dun, dun, dun. And we walked from the B&B that we were at, and we went over, and there is the Tara House, and next to it is this long building, and it's her museum. Yeah. And this is so cute about little towns in Texas. So you walk up to the door, and there's a note taped on the door. Hi, y'all. If the door is locked, no worries. I'm right next door. Just dial this number and call me, and I'm a coming.
Oh, the South.
And I start putting the numbers in, and all of a sudden I hear, I'm coming. And this 80-year-old woman who is adorable comes out of her house, and she comes over and unlocks the door, and she opens it up, and she flicks the switches and the lights and everything. And then she says, now wait for it. And she turns this knob, and all of a sudden you hear, da-na-na-na. We're just cracking up. And you walk in, and she's got everything, Barbara. She has the original theater seats from the very first theater they ever showed Gone with the Wind in.
Wow.
Clothing, everything. And it turns out it's her private collection. Everything in there is hers. She's been collecting for years.
Yeah.
And there's a longer story that's even funnier, what went on between her and her husband to get her where she was. But anyway, I'm standing there for a minute, clueless. I woke up in Gone with the Wind. My friend wanted me to go there so I could see what I could do.
What you could do with Betty Boop.
I came home and I said, Len, we're opening up a Betty Boop museum. And he went, okay. And so I looked at 3 houses this past week, where half of it could be where we live and the other half could be the museum. This weekend we're going to 3 places. We've been all over the place. But the beauty of this is that there is no Betty Boop museum anywhere in the world that they know of. We're in Guinness Book next year, and recently filmed on a TV show called Collector's Call. And I don't know if it's on YouTube. You can pull it up on YouTube.
Oh, I will.
It's on MeTV, which is a channel that shows old TV shows. Cable has it. It's MeTV.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember this show called Facts of Life that had Tootie and Blair. You know who I'm talking about? Blair's the hostess of the show. She came to our house.
Oh, that's cool. That is really cool.
It was Lisa Winchell, Blair, and an appraiser, and Lynn and I were filmed. And what they had us do is pick 8 of our favorite items of our collection, and then we would discuss it. And the appraiser would say, well, when did you buy it? What year? How much was it? Where'd you get it from? Blah, blah. And of course, God, we don't know. But the main thing, there's 2 things that Lynn got me for birthdays. One was the original Betty doll that sold for $1 in 1930. And she's wooden, strung. But the thing about it is she's got a green dress on. And I never thought about this, but the appraiser said, do you see a difference with this doll? And I said, tell me what you're talking about. And he said, she's got a green dress on. Betty normally wears black or red, which is true.
Yeah.
The doll we had was a special edition. It's still got the heart-shaped sticker on it with Betty Boop in there. And he paid $300 for it at the time. The appraiser appraised it at $10,000 now.
Wow.
I know, right? We went and increased house insurance immediately.
I'll bet you did.
So, and then the other big piece is the 52 Chevy convertible Betty Boop car that I ride around in and dress up as Betty. So all of this,
so fun.
Yeah, our goal. See, and okay, let me back up. So when I was talking about mission and vision earlier, and how important it is for people to know their worth, because statistically, as you know, especially in men, retirement age, men they either, a lot of them get sick, have an affair, or do something weird, or they die because their life has been their job, and now they know nothing. And
exactly.
It's that purpose that they don't know they're worth more than what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so the beauty of it is my husband still works. He's 74. I'm figuring he'll die at his desk and I'll have to drag him out. But he loves his job. They love him. And then I overheard one day somebody asked him, "So when are you retiring?" And he said, "I'm not tired. Why do I need to retire?" And he's right. He loves what he does. But then I overheard him one day saying, "If she's opening the Betty Boop Museum, I imagine I'm gonna have to help her." So if he doesn't retire, he's gonna go into something he loves too, and be able to get his book and we've been so blessed in that the CEO of Max Fleischer Company is the grandson of Max Fleischer, and we've met. And so my first concern, I didn't want anybody else involved because of cost and everything, because have a lot. And wait, let me rephrase that. We have a whole lot of Betty, of love, of money, of everything. But it costs a licensing for Betty is $10,000 to be able to sell any of the product, this, that, and the other. Yeah. Well, I got a call from the CEO because his cousin Jenny, who I adored, told him what we were doing. She was so excited she couldn't stand it because there is no Betty Boop Museum. So anyway, I know I'm kind of getting carried away here. They gave us the licensing for nothing.
Yes.
Yeah. So
the universe works beautifully. It just flows.
So we're opening up a Betty Boop Museum. We don't know where yet, but as soon as we know, y'all come.
Well, let me know, and I'm going to have you on the show as Betty Boop.
Oh my God. Okay. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be awesome. It would be great fun.
I could walk around and show you everything. So the goal is to find a building we can live in upstairs and have the museum downstairs.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And the one is Lisa. I asked her if I could say something on the show about us opening up, and she said, "You better. There might be somebody that wants to give you a building, give you some money, give you whatever." So yeah.
Well, that's the thing is, talking about our vision, our dreams, talking about what we're passionate about, what we're excited about. That's what excites others as well, to want to participate with whatever we got going on. So good for you. That's absolutely right on the point. So as we get near the end, believe it or not, we got about 6 minutes left.
Oh my goodness.
I know, it goes so fast. I just like to hear, when it comes to all of the things you're passionate about, what is the one thing that you would like to leave our viewers with as they move forward in their journey of self-discovery?
Oh my gosh. I wish I'd known that beforehand. 6 minutes.
I like to surprise people.
Yeah, you're good. So, from my heart to yours, and to anybody out there listening, your worth is more important than your doing. You have to realize that a human being and how you touch other people's lives is so important. And you never know, just like we were talking teachers earlier, you do not know the effect that you have on other people. So showing up and being authentic, letting them see your vulnerability, me being scared, me being, going ballistic or whatever, it's okay. Be who you really are. Find that out and be that, because there's not enough of us out there.
Yeah, and that's the thing, 8 billion people. There are 8 billion unique, special expressions of the divine.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. It's so true.
Yeah. And everyone is essential to the unfolding of the universe. That's
amen.
Amen, sister. Well, and when I think about like the work that I do and the work that you do, the stuff that we love to do, it really is about allowing that sacred, authentic self to emerge. And that's the vision that I have for my ministry. And, I think it's just so important to remember that each one of us is created divine, that each one of us has gifts and talents, that there's a reason why we're here. There are no mistakes or accidents. Like every single person is absolutely essential. And I think, we sometimes forget that because we're told to do this, that, and the other thing. And when I created my vision for the CSL, it was transforming humanity through the emergence of the sacred, authentic self. And I'm going to change it because it's transforming our world through the emergence of the sacred, authentic self. Because I think that, it's more than humanity.
Yeah.
It's animal life, plant life. It's the whole thing, because there's only one thing going on and we're all interconnected, and
Right.
it's, finding that vision. So for me, one of the things I do, and I'm sure you do something like this as well, is I like to, wherever I see people, I like to comment. So I will say, whoa, do you ever look good today? Or, man, you're beautiful. Or, great outfit. You look amazing. Or, wow, your music is what I really like to acknowledge people in some way as I'm roaming around the world. How about you? What do you do?
What was interesting is in Texas, when you walk around, you say good morning, hey y'all, how you doing, to everybody. And when I got to Ottawa, I'd be walking down the sidewalk, not knowing anybody. Somebody walked by and I go, hey, how you doing? And they'd keep on walking, And at first I didn't get it, but I do. You guys are awesome. I have to acknowledge the fact I was so ready to be. I would live in Canada in a heartbeat if my husband would come. But basically, it's like you say, I look for something like, oh, this morning at the doctor's office, the lady that was checking me in had the finest hairdo ever. And if I had the guts to wear it, I would wear it. I mean, the she looked adorable. And that's it. I find one thing. Yeah. There's something in everybody that's worth acknowledging.
And when we're acknowledged, and so few people are anymore, that's why it's so important and so valuable, is that when you acknowledge something about someone, like immediately they light up.
They do. I know. And
yeah.
And they may, oh, it's nothing. Oh, it's an old shirt. Oh, and I've learned to stop doing that myself.
Yeah, me too.
Say whatever, it's gorgeous. Or I really like it, or yes, I am so wanting to connect with people again since COVID. Yes. So anybody that will talk to me, I will.
Well, I tell strangers on the street, like we'll connect over something, a book or whatever, and I'll go, I love you, and they'll go, I love you too, and it's
well, I'm gonna say I love you too, Barbara. I think we got a good connection here, man. I'm feeling something. Some people, it takes a while, but with you, it's been an immediate connection, and I really.
Well, Janet, I love you too. It has been such a joy meeting you, and there's going to be many more connections, I know, and I look forward to heading to your museum when it's open. So
I'll let you.
All right. Well, you have a wonderful week. I love you. I bless you, and keep me informed as to your doctor's appointment, and I'm going to keep holding you in the light.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
And for everybody who's watching, thank you for being here watching the Joy Show today. I love and appreciate that you're here all the time, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye for now.
Bye.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network, Come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings.